Katie, one more time, my love. Hit it. Katie, everybody else join in. Louder, louder, some whooping and cheering. Please welcome to the stage, Roger Monkhouse.
Thank you very much. No, stop. Oh, you have done. Okay. Good. Yeah, indeed. Very exciting to be taking the stage just as Kaylee's lithium wears off. And the whole fucking room is descending slightly, isn't it? What a tribute to conspicuous alcohol consumption you all visibly are. It's very, very nice to be here. Don't know quite how this will pan out, but fuck it, we'll see what happens. I know what many of you are thinking. At last, an angry, bald, middle-aged English bloke in a suit. How reassuring. It's a joke, obviously. If you're not sure, I appreciate that. At this stage, hello, middle-aged liberals of Bath and the surrounding area. Very nice to be. I say middle-aged, predominantly with respect, middle-aged. I'm aware we've got some younger people in a holding pen at the rear who must be beginning to suspect that we've lured you here to harvest your organs at the end of the evening, given the average age of the room. Hello to you, Barry. I'm not unaware of your presence, but well done, sir. Genuinely well done. And hello to the young at the rear. I don't know quite why you're all sat at the rear like some sort of... They can't help themselves, can they? It's quite charming, really. God bless the young with your lustrous complexions, your moral certainties, and of course nowadays your fluid non-binary sexualities as well. It's isn't it? It's a puzzling world to be a middle-aged man in. I'll be honest with you. You just don't know who to be creepy around anymore, do you? It's a weird. It's a weird, fucked up lottery now, isn't it? Lesbians used to look like me, I seem to remember. It was a simpler world, and in many ways a better one. And now, bafflingly, it's the prerogative of the young to select your own cultural identities, certainly your sexualities, even your gender practically on a whim. You'll have an app for it sooner rather than later, won't you? Just be cock off, cock on, cock off. That's never going to be technologically possible. I'm aware of that, but culturally that's where we're headed. I suppose that's the point I'm making, if I have a point there. If it was that easy, you'd give it a go, wouldn't you? You'd be mad not to, even at your age, Barry. Wouldn't it be an adventure? I'm a 54-year-old man, and I'd fucking love a guy on my own set of female genitalia. I'd be back in hospital within the week, I suspect, for treating it too roughly. But it will be an enormous learning curve, and it'll be wrong not to try it. I've gone a bit too far for some of you, haven't I? I appreciate that. I spent a lot of time on my own this afternoon. I've been decorating the hall, and when you're a middle-aged man alone with your thoughts, you know, things can take an odd turn. Although, to some extent, this is the world we live in. I think we all know that. My son recently solemnly announced that henceforth he would be self-defining as a transformer, I think he meant. He's only 6. He bloody loves them. But too late now, already told the school. So, it's just a silly joke, actually. I don't know what you're expecting there. It's just a joke. Haven't got a son, actually. Not anymore. It's the same joke twice, really, doesn't it? It's the same joke twice, just fucking with you and trying to establish what works in the room. Still none the wiser, really. Some traction over here, fucking not much happening over there. Whatever, we'll just build. Maybe we won't, it's possible we won't. I'm aware it's a full room, and for those of you, of course, towards the rear or in the periphery, many of you will be staring at me thinking, fuck me, isn't that the bloke that Vladimir Putin probably had poisoned in London 12 years ago? Looking remarkably well, under the circumstances, positively glowing. It's different, simple, silly gag. There's examples dotted around the room of you're doing quite well, Barry. I congratulate you. Well, you're in denial. Let's be realistic. It's a bit of fluff around the edge, but it's a generational thing. It's just quite nice doing that, isn't it? But I haven't, I haven't had the chance to do that for some time. There comes a point that it just seems dignified to remove what remains. I always think, but then tragically you discover. That as I've illustrated with the silly lookalike gag there, tragically all bald white men look like all other bald white men. The reason I say white doesn't work if you're black. If you're black, it's physically impossible to look this ill, isn't it? That's just how things are. Genuine sense of relief that joke ended as innocently as it did. That was intriguing, wasn't it? Because Delizo has been on, I'm very aware, and I don't know quite why this is, but if you're bald and black, then that's quite sexy. But white and bald and close to death. Those are the rules. But clearly you're less comfortable about me talking about race than Delizo. I totally understand why. Maybe many of you have been on diversity awareness days and you're not entirely happy about a middle-aged white skinhead addressing matters of racial identity. Well, fucking back off. It's the 21st century and I'm not a racist, I just like the look, apparently. So some of you are very uncomfortable about that. I quite like a bit of diversity. I got ginger pubes, as it happens, so there you go. Second, third generation Celtic thing. It's impossible to be sure, isn't it really? Once again, you're not entirely comfortable, are you? About that. But Bath and the surrounding area, and I do live around here, I should say, and I'm not sure really how Bath you are. How many people here live in Bath? Fucking 5 of you, and then obviously the pissed people who I suspect might be some of the angry tramps around town. I don't know. Increasing numbers of those. In that case, I don't know. You're from elsewhere. Do we have Trowbridge represented? Welcome to Bath. Kindly respect our culture. Have a bit of respect. Just josh him right there. I am, I should say, like many people who are from London originally, I now live in Bath. Can I say what a joy it is to price you all out of the housing market in the way we conspicuously have done. Big fan of the Bath accent, I'll be honest with you. And indeed the Trowbridge one, because with respect, it's rough, but it's not threatening. It's a little bit druggy, but it's not stabby. That's We've got attack dogs, but they don't attack nobody. It's quite sweet. I quite like it. Am I sure? No, I'm not, madam. I'll be honest with you. You could probably have me. That sounded more sexual than I'd anticipated, but it's not meant to. I'm a 54-year-old man. I could disappoint you in 1,000 ways. That's the tragedy, and die trying, potentially, as well. Once again, I've thought that through too much. But when you are comfortable, it takes me 3 days to reload, even then it dribbles out like water. What can I say? What it's like for you, Barry, I can only imagine at your age. Dust, ectoplasm, doesn't matter. You've got a filthy laugh, madam, there. That's great. There you go again, it's lovely. I quite like that. Good luck to the hen. I congratulate the hen. That's a nice thing, isn't it? With people celebrating everything like that. And clearly we've got married couples in because we've got the fucking family fortunes table here, haven't we? So I'm vaguely aware. How many people are married? It's not as popular as it used to be. I appreciate that, but good luck. I do wish you well. If I have I honestly, I do wish I was myself happily married until as recently as 6 years ago now, when she left. I didn't know they could do that. Watch out for that. I thought she was just off to the shops. If I'm brutally honest, you stop listening after a few years. Because the young, this is a tip for you, the young, I think, often naively, if romantically, assume that marriage is a thing of joy that yields bliss on a daily basis, and the truth is more complex than that, isn't it? Marriage much more resembles a cage fight to the death. Between two people who happen to share a belief that divorce is for quitters. You take joy from small victories, a fat lip or a badly twisted testicle, and then after 9 or 10 years maybe, it's like living with eczema or psoriasis or something. You have good days and you have bad days, but it's very hard to imagine being without it. That's the point I'm making there. So don't fuck up, madam, if you got the option. That's what I'm saying. Although it's not so bad for women, because your life expectancy goes up irritatingly. Whereas if you're a bloke, it goes down. That's just one of the things. And being single when you're older, and some of you might have, I suspect, in an eclectic room with different life experiences. But being single when you're older is a challenging thing, technologically and it's great being single when you're young. Up in the gallery, surreptitiously, I would imagine you've all been exchanging pictures of your genitalia, haven't you, whilst I've been on stage with other like-minded young people via Cox app and Snatchbook or whatever it is. I've not done the research, but that's what they do. You don't want to be doing that at our age, Barry, clearly. If only for aesthetic reasons. I sit on the toilet nowadays, my bollocks dangle in the water. It's a perspective trick. Makes you look tiny. Any questions at all? I've just come out and been a little bit crude. I apologise, madam. No, I'm not getting them out. That'll be just. There you go. Wow, the MILFs are all ovulating now, aren't they? Down the front. You're all becoming very predatory down there. Is it the Marks and Spencer suit? Is that what it is? I apologise for dressing as I do. Once again, when you reach a certain time in life, and you know this, sir, with respect, even though you've gone for the alternative middle-aged fucking look. Yeah, you rocky weirdo. But I've taken, essentially, old men can't dress themselves. We've no fucking idea, have we? Once, Barry, you're a case in point as well. Basically, I've got two options. I've got work suit or homeless guy. And there comes a point in life when your local charity shop starts rejecting your donations, even though you probably bought the stuff there 4 years ago, and it's quite liberating. So I've sounded slightly crap. Once again, you see, I apologise. There's a calumny. There's an accusation of the young often against middle-aged men that we're unhappy. Can I say that that's not true? Can I put that to rest immediately? Middle-aged men curmudgeonly quite enjoy being a little bit grumpy. And we have, and this is visibly the case, we have lost the muscular ability to demonstrate joy by and large. But inwardly quite happy, actually. We are. Inwardly very happy. I'm a 54-year-old man. Nothing brings me down. Trump, Brexit, bring it on. I've got an allotment, for fuck's sake. And a whole cupboard full of tin soup. I'm practically invulnerable, as far as I can see. My hobbies now include tutting at young people in the street, shouting at the television news, picking up litter on my own road like an angry, self-righteous tramp, leaving my indicator on to piss off other road users. That's fun, isn't it? They hilariously imagine it's accidental. And looking for my reading glasses. That's an average day. I spend a lot of my time pottering around the house developing half-baked crackpot right-wing theories about all sorts of nonsense and having arguments in my head with people I've never even met before. Sometimes, as a bit of a treat on days off, I buy shit from Halfords just so I can take it back and shout at someone on minimum wage. And I know that's wrong. Clearly that's wrong, but in fairness to me, I've tried it at John Lewis, and apparently they train them there for such eventualities, and there's relatively little fun to be had. I'm just pandering to the predominantly middle-class sensibilities of the room there. I'm just flushing out the middle classes, and there's people going, John Lewis, very good. I should explain to anyone perhaps from the north of England that John Lewis is a shop. It doesn't matter. Just trying to be inclusive. You probably wouldn't like it. They wouldn't let you in. I've said, I don't know why I'm jabbing. Sorry, once again, just a provincial, regional prejudice. Do we have people from the north of England? You are aware we're not having a meat raffle during the course of tonight's show, I hope. Hope you've not been lured here under false pretenses. They fucking love a meat raffle up there. They do. It's extraordinary. It's like going back in time, isn't it? I was working in Leeds and Manchester last weekend, and people still drink and smoke to excess. I find that increasingly exotic. What's edible's negotiable as well, in the most extraordinary way. There was no horse meat scandal in the north of England. No. And I commend you for this, those of you who are from the north. That was the whole horse meat scandal, the provenance of meat, that was a preposterous bourgeois southern affectation. People in the north of England, and I compliment you for this, you don't give a fuck what's in your lasagna, do you? You're just glad you've got a lasagna. I think that's inspiring. I don't care where you're from. I think we can probably all agree that anyone that ever bought Tesco value burgers on the assumption that they were patties of 100% pure ground beef, cut from prime cuts of organically reared cattle, probably wasn't that far up on the food chain themselves in the grand scheme of things. And might, in a more sane universe, consider themselves lucky that they and their families weren't being used to bulk out more expensive meat products. Stop me if I go too far at any point. Life slaps you around the face, you do become a little bit more right. I'll explain once again. I'm addressing the young. I apologise for using you just in some sort of amorphous representation of the young. Since you are transparently in a minority this evening now, and I say this with all due respect to those of you who are here this evening, what a dispiritingly spineless waste of fucking space your generation is. Don't they get on your tits? Really, I'm speaking, I presume, to parents in the room. I'm being bullied in cyberspace. Doesn't exist, for fuck's sake. Man up. Bit of perspective. When a lot of us were young, you couldn't leave the house without a minor celebrity or a high court judge or a member of parliament trying to fuck you. We didn't complain, did we? No. It was character building, I seem to remember. Some of these are jokes, ladies. I don't feel you're all on board. Too late now, we got your money. My son, I said I didn't have a son, but I do. I'm fucking with you. He's 26. He's got the hipster beard, and a lot of that. They are a shockingly judgmental generation. I suppose, frankly, I was a prick when I was that age as well. But it's tedious. You start off being sympathetic, and you just gradually lose sympathy. Whenever we talk, which is Christmas and Easter and family occasions, whenever we talk, he has the audacity to lecture me upon my lifestyle. I'm personally responsible for global warming, according to him, and he can fuck off, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not saying it's not happening, I'm not so brave as to swim against the tide of liberal orthodoxy. It's entirely appropriate that the young should care because, God help you, it will impact upon your generation, and I sincerely apologise for the environmental degradation and the hardship that you will necessarily endure in the second half of your lives. But on our behalf, Barry, I've done the maths, and clearly, by the time the shit really hits the fan, we'll all be dead. Consequently, I don't think it's utterly unreasonable of me to look forward to a bit of nice weather before I shuffle off this mortal coil. I've simplified the issue, I know, but think we all know there's people in Scotland fucking praying for global warming just to get through another year. And even on this latitude, to put it in perspective, broadly speaking, people still tend to fear snow more than we fear terrorism, by and large, don't we? Most people here would walk to work past a couple of burning buses, but you put half of an inch of snow on the ground and civilization starts to crumble, doesn't it? Islamic State might have missed a trick. That's the point I'm making there. Don't want to be giving away any good ideas if we've got any radicalised Islamists in. They rarely turn up to my gigs, but I suppose it's best to ask. This isn't, looking at you, this isn't fertile recruiting ground for Daesh, is it? I mean, looking at, unless they've got some sort of deal going with Saga for Winter Sun, it seems unlikely. I also have a younger child. Now, some of you would have, people have children under 10. I'm assuming that's quite likely. There's a few of you. Have you, sir? And they're sweet things, aren't they? How many kids you got? Fucking hell. Well done, sir. That's quite a job of work. And how old are they? 16, 13 and 7. That's quite a spread, isn't it? I suspect you might have been in jail. Whatever. An impressive spread. Now, you wouldn't know. This is uncontroversial for those of you who are parents. Children bring joy and glory and wonder into your life for approximately 10 years. Then they're cunts, aren't they? That's... Even worse, they're monstrously distorted versions of everything you hate about yourself as well. That makes it all the more psychologically traumatising. Boys are all right because they're all vaguely on the spectrum, so you can just lock them up in a room with a PlayStation. But girls, terrifying hormonally charged little demons, aren't they? It's just little aliens. They're just horrendous. My youngest, who I have for half term, fucking hell. She's just on the cusp. She's 10. She's losing cuteness by the day, consequently. It's still just about functional, but we've probably been on our last fucking camping holiday. Thank fuck for that. It's a shit English attempt at having a holiday, isn't it, when you can't afford anything better. 6 days in a fucking field in Wales, listening to the pissing rain just above your head. Living like a refugee, for fuck's sake. At least refugees are running away from something terrifying. I've got quite a nice house. Makes no fucking sense. What am I doing in a field in Wales? Anyway, that wasn't what I meant to say. I shall leave you with this. It's quite cute. My daughter, because all children, roughly 8, 9, 10, they become a little bit obsessed with the joke format, the rhythm of a joke, the formula of a joke, without actually understanding what's genuinely funny. It's enormously tedious, but obviously as a parent, you're very much obliged to indulge them because it's rude and aggressive in any social circumstances to tell someone that what they've just said's not funny. Just leave it hanging, just for something for you to consider, sir. Fucking nothing all night. So my daughter comes back from school. She goes, "Daddy," and I go, "Yes," and she goes, "Why did the chicken cross the road?" And I go, "Oh, I don't know. Why did the chicken cross the road?" And she goes, "To get to the idiot's house." And I go, "Ha ha 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 ha. To get to the idiot's house. That's very funny. Well done." And then she goes, "Daddy," and I go, "Yes." And she goes, "Knock, knock." And I go, "Who's there?" And she goes, "The chicken." Fuck off. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a wonderful club. Thank you so much for filling the room this evening. My name's Roger Monkhouse. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good night.
Roger Monkhouse, everybody!